And you are in charge of the division.
Major Investigation Section for the Criminal Investigations Division.
And this obviously falls under that because as you read through the prosecutor's notes here, they describe horrific.
This is an extremely violent homicide. Extremely brutal, horrific, I think was an excellent way to describe it because of what occurred.
Can you just get me through the timeline of events? What led investigators to ID this injured man as a suspect rather than a victim? How did this unfold?
So ultimately what happened was we received a 911 call from a resident about a man down with injuries and blood all over him. Deputies responded immediately and found the person, rendered aid, and had fire medics come to the scene to provide treatment and whatnot. Afterwards, the deputies then followed what was essentially a bloody trail back to apartment 58 of the apartment complex. Fearing that there could be other people hurt, they made entry, and then they found 2 victims that were deceased and obviously were brutally murdered.
Going back to when they found that first person, that man,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't indicate at the time that there were, from what I'm reading, it doesn't sound like he indicated at the time that there were others.
No, I don't think so. I think the only, one of the deputies is bilingual and was able to make out something to the effect of fiancé, but was not very communicative with the deputies at the time when they were helping him.
And obviously when it comes to the 2 women, they were both found in the bedroom, correct?
Yes.
And just, I mean, I know you've already said horrific, but we're talking about multiple stab wounds, right?
Yes. One of the victims, Victoria, suffered about 20 stab wounds, as well as what we describe and the medical examiner described as defensive wounds as well. The other victim, about another 10 stab wounds, and as well as additional 8 to various other parts of their body and whatnot. So, and these were deep plunging stab wounds, so a lot of force, a lot of anger, a lot of rage typically associated with those types of injuries.
Now, these people, should point out, all 3, they all live there?
Yes. Based on our understanding, interviewing the other roommates, they all lived there in one room.
And they all work together. Now, there's the claims, eventually we get to when you do have detectives able to talk with Marvin
Mm-hmm.
at the hospital. What is his story?
So his story was that he and his girlfriend come back. He doesn't mention the other roommate. He falls asleep in the apartment on a sofa. He wakes up to hear a lot of commotion and apparently finds his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend and their other roommate deceased. And then he claims that he saw another suspect in the building, in the room, who flees. And essentially that's his story. Detectives, through their investigation, it's obvious that based on the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab and their investigation and looking at where the suspect said the alleged perpetrator came from, and given the extent of injuries and blood associated, there was no blood found at that location. It appears there was only one person that exited, that was Marvin, based on some evidence we found when the deputies arrived, specifically a flip-flop that matched kind of the imprints of the blood walking out from the apartment to where he was found, as well as other forensic evidence, specifically some date timestamps associated with cell phone calls and texts.
And also, I was kind of confused by the locked door. Did it appear that the door to the apartment had been locked from the inside, or did What was the door section?
So what it appears is only one person exited from the apartment, and they had some sort of access to a key. So it appears that it was locked from the inside, or by use of a key or something to that effect. So what it indicates is somebody had access to the apartment that would indicate that they lived there.
Bottom line, no evidence of an intruder.
No, none whatsoever.
Okay. And I want to ask about the digital evidence, but first, just curious about surveillance cameras. Have those been useful? Have those been reviewed?
That's standard practice for us. We're always going to review body camera, specifically by our deputies, but also any surveillance cameras in the area. I'm sure we reviewed that. My understanding, it was more focused on the forensics evidence, though, and the other evidence we located, specifically cell phone data and things of that nature.
Yeah, with the cell phone data, what did it show? You looked at 3 different cell phones, and you were able to get Victoria's and Marvin's. What does it show?
What the cell phone evidence shows is about an hour before Marvin was found, they had a text exchange. Clearly, it indicated in that text exchange that he was not there at the residence, and that he wanted to come over and talk with, it appears, his ex-girlfriend about why they broke up. And so that kind of text exchange establishes a good timeline for us, in about a 60-minute window, where, based on the text exchange about an hour prior, and then when he was found, kind of discounts what his statement was to a separate intruder coming in, as well as potentially motive as to why this horrific crime took place.
Okay. And yes, I know there was some translation there, but what it did equal to is they had recently broken up, or she'd broken up with him, something along those lines.
Something along those lines,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
We only have the text string and what Marvin is willing to share with us. We'll certainly talk with others, friends, family, to try to establish additional information as to maybe why this occurred. But so based on the cell phone data and specifically the text messages, what it looks like is it was a breakup that ended extremely violently.
Okay. And detectives did make a pretty big discovery too. A couple days later, on 9/11, found what looks like potentially the murder weapon.
Correct.
Okay.
So our detectives returned to the scene, and in the area where Martin was found by the resident, we found a knife partially buried in the ground. So it looks like he made an attempt to bury the murder weapon. Based on the ME's examination of that murder weapon, it's consistent with the injuries that the 2 women suffered from, or were caused by, excuse me.
Okay, very good. And talking about injuries, are Marvin's injuries consistent with self-infliction or defensive wounds from the victims?
So what it looks like is, based on the examination done by the hospital and the professionals there at the hospital, the doctors and nurses, the wounds were very superficial. They were not consistent with an attack. They were more consistent with self-inflicted type of wounds, potentially in order to mask the fact or assist with his story he provided detectives that there was a separate intruder that attacked him.
Okay, and additionally, we had really high bail in this case, and in the prosecutor's notes it mentions concern about a flight risk. Why are detectives concerned about that?
Well, in consultation with the prosecutor's office, we always look at bail amounts and reasonableness and risk. In this case, because he has family outside the U.S. and it appears he has means in order to assist in his flight were he to choose to, we specifically asked for a high bail. That, in combination with the violence and the horrific nature of this double murder.
And it's Guatemala that he has ties to, and had a sibling, right, who was able to fly the same day or the day after the attack.
That's our understanding, based on our investigation and whatnot. And so that, in combination with the crime, his means and ability, the seriousness of the crime, it was reasonable for us to request such a high bail.
Very
I
good.
think the public would expect that.
Is there an anticipated timeline for DNA results? Because you obviously have a lot of DNA in this case.
I know we've submitted quite a bit of evidence for DNA. DNA takes a little bit of time, but it's been, we've requested it through the medical examiner's office to be expedited. So hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll get DNA results back.
Okay. I know you have to respond to a lot of really serious crimes, but does anything about this one stand out?
So what really stands out about this is we have a domestic violence crime. The domestic violence crime in this particular case impacted not only the girlfriend, but also a roommate. That roommate suffered 44 significant injuries, plunging stab wounds, one of which separated her vertebrae. That is pretty violent. That is demonstrative of a lot of anger and passion. And then on top of that, we have another victim who suffered about 20 stab wounds in total, some post-mortem, and those were of his ex-girlfriend. And when you have that kind of crime of violence with that amount of injuries caused, and using a weapon that is, quite frankly, pretty up close and personal, because you would have to, because it's stabbing, it kind of stands out to me.
Great. You answered my questions. Is there anything you'd add that I didn't cover?
So what I would add is that, you know, our detectives are extremely professional, and we will always investigate to the best of our ability crimes like this or any other crime. In addition, the support of the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab was essential in helping us make a determination, identify who the suspect was, and then assist us in making an arrest. So our partnership was invaluable, and we need resources like that in order to, you know, be effective in serving the public.
Very good. Very good.